Hi, my name is Kunal and I'm on the product team here at Sauce Labs. Joining me is Nancy from the product marketing team, and we are here to give you product update and to help you get started with some new functionality.
I want to start with some changes that Sauce Labs has been seeing with our customers and in the market. In recent years, there has been a shift towards JavaScript test automation frameworks. Today, our customers are using Cypress, TestCafe, Puppeteer, and most recently, Playwright. So if you're adopting these frameworks for your entire app or with a few teams, or you're considering it, then this talk is for you. As teams are using new JavaScript automation frameworks, organizations may be using multiple frameworks, and this creates new infrastructure demands. They need to be integrated into the DevOps processes, and this creates a lot of overhead as teams look to scale testing in new frameworks and to new teams. We wanted to create one solution for any framework. Once a team starts writing tests in the new framework, the time it takes to run tests sequentially can become really long, and teams need to find a way to ensure testing isn't a bottleneck. So our team really looked into how we can speed up testing both locally as well as on code commits in CI/CD pipelines. And finally, as each test produces a lot of metadata, screenshots, videos, teams need a way to capture and interpret it in a meaningful way. So similar to how we support Selenium Insights, we've built insights that you can access whenever and wherever you run a test. So you can improve product quality and delivery speed.
So with that in mind, the team is really excited to tell you about our support for the new testing frameworks. Our tool is called Testrunner Toolkit. The solution is for anyone who wants to write tests using JavaScript, such as Cypress, Playwright, Puppeteer, or TestCafe. Our product can be used by developers or QAs who are writing these functional tests. The beauty is that you can mix and match. The Sauce Testrunner Toolkit allows the JavaScript test to run at scale for faster release cycles. This could be beneficial if you're already a Sauce customer or if your team is planning to use these new frameworks. The toolkit actually provides you flexibility to orchestrate the tests on your own infrastructure by the pre-configured Docker images or on Sauce Labs cloud infrastructure. However you test, you will view all the test results, artifacts, the metadata which they're generating in a single place. Sauce Labs is in a unique position by providing this flexibility alongside insights. Let me run you through a quick demo on how to get started. First thing, we need to navigate to our documentation. You will see the documentation around using Testrunner Toolkit. This is where we will be adding new frameworks. As of now, we support Cypress, Playwright, and TestCafe. You can jump in and read more about each of these frameworks and the different versions that we support. During installation, all you need is a curl command. I'm going to copy the curl command. I'm going to navigate to my terminal and call the curl command. This is going to install the source control on your command line. Once done, you have source CTL, which is source control on your command line, and you can run it by just typing source CTL. Over here, you can see we have a few options you can configure, which will let you add your Sauce Labs credentials to the command line. You can actually run a new, which I'm going to do now. That will present you with the framework options that we support. In this case, for the demo purpose, I'm going to pick up Cypress. So if I have to use Cypress, I'm going to also pick up my data center, which is again part of your Sauce Labs account. Let's override and do Sauce Labs run. In this case, I'm going to run the tests on Sauce Labs environment. To do that, I'm just going to do Sauce Labs run and then do test environment to be Sauce. What this does is basically takes our default project, demo project, which we have, and starts executing the tests in cloud on the Sauce side. You will see that we have the Sauce config in here, which it is pointing to, the project, how we uploaded the project, the current concurrency, which region, and which test suite it's running. If you want to navigate, you can even pick up the URL and navigate to Sauce Labs to see how it's executing your tests. So let's do that. I'm going to go here on a new tab and open up the screen. So this is where I'll see the new test is still ongoing, it's still running, I can jump back to the test results screen and see that the current test is actually running and it's in execution right now. So once it's done, we'll start seeing all the different test artifacts that it is generating. Okay, once the tests are done, you will see the status coming back to the command line. It will say failed or passed based on the status, and you will get the URL. So let's go back and see what happened. Once I'm back on my dashboard, I can actually view the Cypress test that ran. I'll get all the information about the framework that it ran, what is the visibility of it, the time it ran, how long it took, which environment it ran it, which platform it ran on, and which browser did we use to run the test. By default, you will jump to the console log where you can quickly see on all the tests that were executed and the failures and the issues that happened. So you can browse down and look at your errors on the right side, and you will see the examples that have failed. If you want to look into the video, you can quickly hover through, start the video, and you can see how the video is getting collected and what the tests are getting executed. So again, it's pretty powerful. If you have used Sauce before or you're new, we are capturing all the artifacts that are associated to the tests. You can also jump on the metadata and look at the associated metadata that was generated for these tests, as like the name of the test, the release, the different tags which you were associated to it, and the browser name and the other browser version and the backend version which you were running on. So let's go back and let's see if we have to run the test in a different way. The other really nice thing which we provide is for the ease of use to run tests in a Docker mode. So if I remove the environment flag and I just want to run it sauce run, this will actually instantiate the tests within the Docker mode on your local box. So again, the idea here is to give you the flexibility and the ease of use to use and run your tests wherever you are. If you're using it in your command line, we'll pull a new Docker container down and start running the tests. Or as I showed you before, you can always kick off the tests in Sauce Cloud. How does this work? So that's where I'm happy to show you our configuration file. So let's do that. So this is how the config looks like. This is sort of the heart and centerpiece of how we are running these tests. This is where you'll add your configuration or other types of platform or browsers that you want to execute tests on. So in this case, since we were going through Cypress, you will see the version, the Cypress, Sauce version, which is right here, Sauce US West 1, the name of the metadata, testing Cypress support, and the build number. Over here, I've set the concurrency to 1. It again depends on which plan type you are on. You can have a higher concurrency than 1. For the ease of use from customer standpoint, you can always import your config file, the Cypress config file. So it's pretty straightforward. You don't have to rewrite this configuration if you've already done a lot of work on your Cypress config. You can have the version here. From the suites perspective, this is something which we look for. This is where you can actually define which test files you want to execute and on which browsers. It gives you the flexibility. You can have one, you can have multiple suites. You can divide them based on different browsers or different test files as you wish. Right now we support Windows, but as we expand our reach into other platforms, you can even specify different platform types which you want to run on. But it's pretty straightforward. We are in process of updating our docs. Please feel free, if you find something, please reach out to us. You can see the same config over here in our documentation, all the keys and how to use them. As we sort of build up the other frameworks, Playwright, TestCafe, and others, we'll keep on updating the configuration files. This product is ready and available to try out. You can start running the tests today using these frameworks. All you need is a Sauce Labs account.
Thank you, Kunal. And thank you everyone for listening. Watch out for product updates, and we'll talk to you next time.